It's no secret today that many modern-day jobs are complete and utter dog water, mostly involving retail or some kind of customer service. Most people, for a great majority of their working lives, perform this low-tier grunt work or occupy some form of middle management positions, both soul-sucking in their own right. Sad to say, I was no different. For 4.5 years, I worked as a produce and maintenance employee at a big grocery store chain. And let me tell you, no other down bad period in my life could even compare to the pit of despair that I felt for the latter 3 years of working at that place. My boy, when I say I wanted to put the muzzle of my rhino up to my head and
Connection terminated.
myself, I meant it. Side note, practice good gun safety. Don't be a dumbass. Luckily, I wanted to gaze upon the glory of God's creations more than I wanted to be sleeping with the fishes. I also had my mom's help. Love you, Mom. It wasn't all bad. I did make some good friends while working there, but I can't say that really offset the dread I felt about the amount of time I ended up throwing into the ether at that place. It is what it is, I guess. Don't worry, this isn't going to end up to be Sad Boy Story Hour, the video, rather a discussion of time. I feel too many people really underestimate the value of time, or straight up just don't think about it at all. Many see it as a clock to be punched, the counting up to a weekend, the counting down from a weekend. As a result, so much of one's time is wasted toiling away. Waiting for money is, in my opinion, one of the biggest reasons why many people are stuck moving in place. Stuck in the time sinks that are these jobs. What separates an Amazon warehouse worker from an internet content creator? Not fucking much. Of course, there are some differences. Really depends on who you compare, honestly. But one of the biggest, if not the biggest, differing factor is freedom. Specifically, financial freedom. Now, I'm not talking about the money made in a sitting. Of course, that matters. I'm more talking about the timeliness of that money. How different would things be if a creator took a sponsorship and saw the money that they were promised in 2 weeks' time, instead of after the video drops? I think fundamentally things would be operating quite differently. We live in a society,
poopcock, and
where your freedom is greatly dependent on how deep your pockets are. Is that a good or bad thing? Depends on who you're asking. Everyone has a different answer. Personally, I think it's a double-edged sword, depending on the wielder. And if you're skilled enough, you'll rarely get cut. Waiting for your money can be a very big deciding factor for anything you want to do. Fundamental or luxury.
On the
GT3 RS, got a loan.
good. Yeah, fuck that.
$270,000.
Oh, for a what?
Want to eat? Well, unless you're a skilled hunter and craftsman, you need money. Want to donate to some e-hose Twitch stream? You need money. Whatever it is, money is required in some form or another. The timeliness of that money is a big deciding factor on what you're able to do. You don't see semi-successful internet sludge farms bugging out about how they're going to budget until their next paycheck. Well, that's not entirely true. You do see plenty of people complaining about demonetization, but oftentimes that's offset by the other sources of revenue that they have open to them. There's things like merch. The biggest notable difference between a wagey and a content cuck
Mel time.
is the timeliness of the money made. I feel that the mindset of these soul-sucking wage jobs would be fundamentally changed if, instead of the bi-weekly or weekly pay schedule, it was changed to a nightly schedule. That's not to say that everyone needs to go out and start streaming or making videos to get a bag.
Fuck up, okay? Shut the fuck up with your horny ass fuck questions. Nobody give a fuck about answering all these questions, yo. I'm not your personal porn star.
There are plenty of ways to make money then and there without making content or shilling on the internet. Although the internet makes it far less of a chore and can be far more lucrative in many cases. There are a subset of jobs that really don't overlap too much with those who participate in the internet bullshit economy, but they do share one major commonality. The only commonality that really matters: getting paid near instantly. Those jobs are tip-based jobs.
Man, who on God's earth would ever leave you a tip for making a Subway sandwich? Are you kidding me right? You know what? You give me a tip.
Tip-based jobs, in my opinion, far outclass every low-tier job.
You can't come back here.
Chicken sandwich.
Many mid-tier jobs, and even some high-tier jobs simply for the timeliness of the money. I first realized this when I got a job as a pizza delivery driver. Before that, I was always at the behest of the company's payment schedule, toiling away, living paycheck to paycheck as many unfortunately do. The freedom that came with a tip-based job was incredible. Budgeting was far less strict and money was far thicker spread. The freedom afforded to me by this job cannot be understated. I would go as far as to say it's close, or at least adjacent, to those who don't have to worry about money pretty much at all. Now, I'm not saying tip-based jobs are the end-all be-all. They're not. At their core, these jobs are still toil. But toil that's far more useful in many ways, if not every way, when compared to other low-tier and mid-tier jobs. It's not meaningful work, quite the opposite actually. As with anything in life, there are trade-offs, and these are no different. The three biggest trade-offs for me working as a delivery driver are the in-store pay is far less when compared to an insider. The in-store pay is cut in half when you're on the road, and tips aren't guaranteed. Most people want stability, so that tends to be a deal breaker for many. But if you're willing to drudge through it and take the bad days with the good, and most importantly, having a use for that money made, using the time afforded to you, with tip-based jobs, you really can't go wrong. In other words, if you have 0 bags, get 0 bitches, and don't have Johnny Rizzler on speed dial, then I would recommend putting that money pit of a Supra to work and getting some quick cash that doesn't involve taking internet surveys or shilling for Chinese trash on your drop shipping site will help you fix at least one of those things. In conclusion, now that I've given you the keys to success, buy my course.
Like, you thought I was feeling you? Now I was feeling you.
I see you.
I'm a nigga eater, he ate it for lunch. Bitch, on my body, I get what I want. Like, bitch, on my body, I get what I please. You know my body, I do it with ease.
I went to my doctor to get extra teeth. He said you was there for gender surgery. You got an egg-shaped penis like Epstein. You gotta tell your wife stop texting. Why you on Instagram flexing? Get all your swag from Etsy. The day that you die, I said Betsky. I'm in Mason Margello and Balenciaga. You in the gamer chair eating Cheeto chip.
I wish I could know why you have so much violence and contempt in your heart. I work in a supermarket.